Sitting next to you.
You guys look so beautiful. Oh, I'll be up here next week, so if you miss me, I get it. I would love, I'm honored to introduce my dad, Jaslynn Liotard, as our speaker. He was born and raised in Ripon. He played football. He graduated from high school, worked at the paper mill forever, and then finally was like, you know what, forget this, turned in his 401k. Everyone's like, Jeff, you're crazy, don't do it. So then he bought Mountain Mike's Pizza, and I remember I was sitting at the kitchen table, and he tells us, right? I'm about 12 years old, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm be so popular. And then I realized how being popular, that's actually not very fun. But anyway, so then for the past 15 years, you know, he's been in Rotary. We've done all sorts of crazy things. You'll see it. And he recently went back and got his education at the Trump University. So here is Jeff Liotard.
Yeah, I do. You're amazing.
I got a good picture.
Thank you. I have to do this. I normally don't wear my shirt up here, so let me feel a little more comfortable. So I notice a lot of people are wearing shorts here today. So my group was kind of offended when I started 15 years. Oh, there I was in Aruba. So I had me a nice cigar rolled there. One thing about okay, I'm not going to talk about these. You guys can just watch those, and I'll talk about what I've done. 15 years ago, it's been about that long. I got into Rotary for all the wrong reasons, and I was a Lions member. I was going to be a Kiwanis member. I was going to be with, those are turkeys right there. We cooked 206 turkeys this year. Well, I'll get into that. But anyway, I got into it for all the wrong reasons. I was just a marketing thing, being in Mountain Mike's. It's a pizza thing. And so with that, even some of the guys, they'd come up over the years and say, we didn't know what we were going to do with you when you came in because you looked like you were a handful. And that's actually the guy on the right here. That's Dr. Stillhorn. He's an optometrist, and him and I have been traveling for pretty much the majority of my Rotary life to Central America. So a lot of fun pictures. That's what I always like to do. Is I always like to have fun, whether I'm working inside the clinics or outside the projects in the community. We are, as a family, we're very, very active, especially in Rotary. I'm sure you've heard about Jaslynn. She's been in Interact. My wife is the Interact advisor for our group, and we have about 100 kids. And there isn't a program in Manteca that we don't take care of, from Seroptimus, Kiwanis, all of it. I mean, we take care of it all. Her kids are just amazing kids, and she runs a pretty tight ship with them. I've been down, I can't remember how many times I've been down to Central America. I'm in the 40s and 50s because I go, that's part of our condo that we own down there, and I have a shipment. Those are all glasses that are right there. So I just got back from a trip to 4 different, Panama, Costa Rica, through Rotary. I meet all these people, Honduras, let's see what else, Guatemala. I have not been to Nicaragua. But I am.
Come on down.
Yeah, no, don't be surprised if I don't show up. But I'll show up with glasses and prosthetic hands. As these things are being passed out, you'll see the type of glasses that we use down there. And we have pretty much the whole spectrum, from a -6 to a +4. Okay? And back when I started in Rotary, they didn't really know what to do with me, so Dr. Stillhorn, he says, hey, let's take the big guy with us. And, you know, the one guy, Mark Oliver, he was going down there to Honduras quite often, and he wasn't too interested in taking me. But backing up a little bit, how I got to Honduras was back in '98 when the Hurricane Mitch hit. Manteca spearheaded a project, and we actually ended up with 3H grant raising, what was it, $450,000. So we took it down there, and I don't know exactly what the name of the place is, but it was called Santa de Lima. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, but I still go there to this day. That's a hospital, and that's a lady there, and they barely got the roof on there. But anyway, so we went down there, and I kind of had one of those moments. You know, I was touched by a lady that it really changed my life on how I do business and stuff like that. So the doc and I, we sat down one day and we said, we can't use these glasses that come in gunny sacks. We have to figure out a way to purchase these things. Well, when they did that 3H grant, they actually bought 15,000 pairs of those.
Wow.
Half of them went to Africa on a project, and then the other half ended up with us. We bought them. So now that's all we use, and we kind of get fancy with them too, because we'll buy if there's like little kids that are there and they need a prescription that we don't have, we'll end up, we'll just purchase them ourselves, and we will, make sure that the kids have them. I'm down there frequently enough to where I think it was the year before last, I was there 8 times. And we've worked with Texas A&M. We've worked with a lot of people all over the world, and it's just been an amazing project. So I was going on vacation here a couple summers ago, and I bumped into this guy. He kind of, he was an older gentleman in the airport, and everybody was going to Brazil. That was 2 summers ago, wasn't it? For our international convention? Was it in Brazil? Okay. So he was in it by himself, and I just went over and started talking to him because I seen the Rotary deal, and I gave him my whole badge number and the whole thing, and anyway, we started talking, and he asked me what I do, and I told him, I've been doing this project for 15 years, and I've actually seen over 70,000 people, and we bought and paid for 60,000 pairs of eyeglasses is what we've done. And you have to remember, when you see these pictures here and that line that goes around, that might be 300, 400, 500 people, and we'll knock them out in a day. And that's how quick we are. So, and it was kind of a joke because because I'm kind of like, I take these teams down there now, and I take all the photos and the videos and all that for them, and I teach them how to do it. Well, what took me many years to do, I can teach you in about 2 hours, and you will be fully aware of what you're doing when it comes time for eyeglasses. Okay? So anyway, let me get back to, in the airport, I meet this guy, and he says, I want you to check this out. So he pulls these bags out. There's some bags around the table. And if you open those up and you look inside there, it's a prosthetic hand. And that prosthetic hand is, you can see the one over there. I really, this is the stuff that I encounter here. But I really kind of fell in love with the project, especially after he told me how it came up with the LN4 hand project. Rotarian over in the Bay Area, his daughter was 18 years old, was in a horrific car accident. Of course, she was killed. And he wanted to remember her somehow. So he came up with this project, this hand project. And of course, her name was Ellen, and he calls it the LN4. So he started with a company with molds. Come to find out, he was a Rotarian. So they got together, pretty much, they just worked together on this project. And the little rubbers, if you feel the little fingers that are there, the guy was down, and you'll probably see a picture in there, and it's got the backs of some toothbrushes. So the rubber from Oral-B has these little rubber things. So they hooked up with Oral-B, and they have this rubber here. Actually, Oral-B is the one that designed this. And they're actually the ones that provide all the rubber for it, and it's a great grip. And when we were down, Jaslynn and I went down to El Salvador. We did a project, and how many did we see? There was like 100 people. And so I was there pretty much for logistics. I mean, because I'm going to be starting, I'm an ambassador to Honduras when it comes time for this project. And very well known in Honduras because I travel it all the time to all the different clinics. And I have spots, and this is what people don't understand is I have spots where I'll have like 3,000 pairs of eyeglasses in this clinic here. So if I know I'm going to this country here and I'm out of this particular, I can fly over to here, grab these, fly back over, and do a project. And it might be closer to go to Guatemala than it is to go to Honduras. But we still carry down in our suitcases a couple thousand pairs of eyeglasses down there. So, but anyway, I know I'm bouncing around. I don't have a script, but there's just a lot of stuff. But this project here, we were down in, let's see, what was it? We did 100 there. Then I took my team down to Honduras, and we were on the border. This was back in November, and there was 5 of us, and we went down. We did 1,000 people. We ended up doing, it was like 1,600 pairs of eyeglasses that we were giving out. And a lot of people are like, Jeff, how come people, why can't they just buy them themselves? And you don't understand, we're on the border of Nicaragua and Honduras, okay, but we're in cigar country. So I think you might see my cigar designer on there. Him and I are amazing cigars, they're nice and fresh. But anyway, so we're down there, and we ended up doing 1,000 people in eyeglasses, and we actually had 27 prosthetic hands that we fitted. These little guys here. Did you guys see the little girl that was up there? Yeah, she was amazing. There was another one that I put up there. There's a larger lady, and I ask them when they come in, "Hey, how'd you lose your arm?" Because a lot of times it's from coming to the United States, and they fall off the train. So I have a friend that's down there now, and he calls me and says, "Jeff, here, look, but I'm smarter than that. I left my guys about 15 of these hands." So that way they're there. And all I got to do is just say, instead of me having to go down there to do it, my people down there can do it. But anyway, we did 27. And the one lady, she was, I asked her, I says, I don't speak Spanish, but I have an interpreter. And I says, what happened? And she goes, my husband got mad at me and chopped my arm off. Yeah. I had another picture in there. This guy, for you musicians, you guys would have loved it because this guy was like Santana, right? And he played the guitar. And he lost his arm in the fireworks. He's a pyrotechnic. And so all he remembers is a white flash. And he woke up in the hospital and he was missing his guitar hand. So we hooked him up, and he sent me an email, and he's like, man, he says, I'm back. So it's kind of one of those, it's kind of one of these great things that we're able to do. I mean, stories that are just amazing that we come across, especially with the little kids. And I told you earlier how we just pay for them. We'll pay for the glasses. My doc buddy, he has a lens cutter now, so he actually takes the round piece of glass, sticks it in there, cuts the lens for whatever we need, and away we go. He had some heart conditions, so he was unable to make it on this trip and the trip before that. Did you have the toe? Okay, all right. So what happened was we're at our condo, and we had this money guy coming in, right? Because like anything, we need money to do our thing. Well, we pick him up at the airport, and of course, I got to take you around the island, and we have to have about a 12-pack of beer with us. So, you're only driving like 35 miles an hour around the island. This is the island of Roatan. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. And you been there? Okay. Were you on where'd you stay at?
Only on television.
Oh, on the cruise ship.
TV, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, this is how I ended up. They sent us down there to work, and then they put us on a vacation over to here. I fell in love with this place my second trip down, and we ended up buying a condo, and the kids have been raised on the beach down there, and like I said, we're always down there. It's amazing, and that's kind of like my little that's my excuse for going down to Honduras. So all my trips that I do, I always take everybody over to the condo, and we spend about 4 days. But getting back to, this guy, Renee, I almost knocked out the doctor. Sorry, docs. But when it comes time for me and working, my philosophy is I don't care if your nub is here or if it's up here. If I can get you to carry a bucket of water and I can strap this thing around your neck and make it happen for you, or same with eyeglasses, I've layered 350s, plus 350s, okay, and I tight strapped them to where people can actually see because of cataracts or just this little tiny pinhole they can see out of. But because I magnified it to 15 plus 15, these people are able to see. And I work from sun up to sundown. I don't care what the conditions are. You can see the conditions right here. We're working in the dumps where people are actually living in the dumps. And what happens is the trash comes in, and they have to keep carving out the mountain to keep raising their house because the trash is coming up higher and higher and higher. And then able for those people to come in through to our clinic, because they were doing surgeries right over in the next room over, dental. They laid out the sheets in this room, and they were just starting to hack away on them. And so we're over there, and we're doing eyeglasses right next to them. And this one girl, she comes through, and she's really just, she can't see because she has this long fingernail, and she's like this the whole way. Because if she trips and falls, what's going to happen to her front teeth? She's going to knock them out, right? So she's like this. So I knew automatically we had some serious issues here. We have what we call an autofractor. I think it was on there as a machine. We shoot a beam into your eyes. It tells us what your prescription is. So that thing has traveled with us everywhere. And actually we have 2 of them. Nobody knows that. So, but anyway, yeah, we kind of we're kind of renegades of Rotary. We really are, especially down there, because we can't follow the rules of Rotary while we're working. It just doesn't work for me. Okay, I don't contact the Rotary clubs that are down there. I just go in, I do my job, and I get out. And then later on, they catch me on the news going, "Hey, we didn't know you were here in our country." And it's like, yeah, because it becomes too difficult, because then we got to go to dinners and all this stuff. So, okay, there's my guy right there. Now, that's Byron. I'm in a cigar shop. Most amazing cigars. And that's why I ended up growing this, because I'm going to have my own brand of cigars. So for you cigar lovers, you want to travel with me, it's a great place to go. So anyway, but getting back to the one girl in Honduras in the dumps, I had an interpreter with me, and she just had all these, I don't know what it was. I finally looked at her and I says, "Hey," I says, "Is that lice?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How'd she get in?" And I'm like a very hands-on kind of person, because I want to be, I'm doing glasses. And so with that, the scabies were just unbelievable. It was awful. But she come out to be a -4, and it's legally blind in the United States. And I got her to see almost a 20/20 vision. And those are one of those ones where unless you're there to see it, to see the little kid. I know Jaslyn's sitting there thinking about it right now. But I had a little girl, we'll back it up, this little girl came in a wheelchair, and it had a wood seat. She was mangled. I mean, she was just, her arms were like this size right here. And she was probably 15 years old, and her legs, and it was just awful. And I'd been out already for 2 weeks. And I was thinking of the kids. This is like 10 years ago. I was thinking of the kids, and I'm just like going, "Oh my gosh, I just want to go home." So I'm starting to get those emotions going. And next thing I know, I've got the doc comes over to the mom and puts her hand on her shoulder and says, "God gives you the strength to be able to handle kids like this, right? And that's the last thing that I need to hear, right? Because I'm thinking of my own kids. And we call that when we lose it, we lose control sometimes, and we've done it because of the emotions, we call it sweating. So I just kind of turned around a little bit, kind of looked at the wall, and I was just kind of going, gosh, Doc, why do you say stupid stuff like this? So with that, he comes over and he says it again. And I just kind of look, I lose it, and I look out the window, and we look at one another, and we're both sweating, we start laughing. And I've never used ever any profanity on him ever, but I did tell him, I says, if you ever say that again, I will knock you the blank out right here inside space. And because it's just like, I'm trying to do my job. And so anyway, so as time goes on, we were down in Honduras in the Church of Ebenezer, I'll never forget it. And it was part of the Islanders, and the Islanders, of course, are black. And Miss Gracie, she's about that tall, big, beautiful black woman. She always says, God sent me from heaven. And it's just the way she says it is amazing. But we're inside this church, and we're doing a project. And this little girl comes walking in, and she's got somebody with her, and because they think she's retarded, and she's like this, all over everything. And she's just holding on to everything. Well, I knew when I first seen her, because I'm watching who's coming in, I knew she couldn't see. So my other daughter and her boyfriend were down there with us, and I've got those two set up so where they're on the charts, and I'm back here, and I handle all the hard stuff, especially like the little kids, because I just kind of sit down in a chair, and I'll twist balloons for them or whatever, and kind of make them really feel comfortable, and I'll start in and check them out. Well, this one little girl, she came up and she couldn't see. So I went through a series of glasses with her because she didn't shoot on our autofractor. So I always have a name. There's always a name that they give me for when I'm there because it's always kind of fun for me. So Doc comes around, and my daughter and her boyfriend stop and they look because they know that Doc's going to say something and I get to knock him out this time, right? And so he comes over to me and he says to the lady, don't worry about it. He's the magic man. He'll take care of her. One of the most amazing, memorable moments of this was when I finally got her to see, and she was like a -5. And all of a sudden, she yanks these things off. She starts crying. And I don't speak Spanish, okay? And I can't read facials from kids. Adults, I can. I know what you're thinking. Okay? And I know you all want to go home right now. So anyway, so with that, she flings these things off. Everybody starts yelling and screaming in this church, and I'm going, it's one of those WTF moments. I'm like, I'm running out the back door, right? Because I don't know what's going on. These old men are crying and the whole thing. I'm like going, wow, this is unbelievable. This is my day right here in the church. And come to find out, she wasn't retarded. She just couldn't see. And now she's running around all over the place, and I finally had to grab the mom and say, Mom, leave her alone. Just let her go. Let her go. She's running all over the place. She can see it. That very thing that she was touching when she came in, she was just staring there looking at it. And I was just like, the emotions are just like, okay, I need to go have me a cigarette break. And I don't smoke. So anyway, no, a lot of great things. I mean, every trip. And it's just like I tell Jaslynn, wherever she goes, and anybody else when they go on these, what's your story going to be when you come back? You have to live on the edge on these projects. So anyway, see, there's the toothbrushes right there because I had to modify this thing for him because I called that. There's two sizes if you looked at them. There's one small one which I like because of the agility on it, and there's the other one, and I called it the Mobster Lobster. And this one guy wanted a small one and a big one. I was like, okay, whatever you want. This project right here is I'm working with the Russians down in Guatemala. And have you seen that toe that got dinged? Remember I told you I was drinking beer and we're kind of cruising around the island. Well, Doc stubs his toe, lays his toe open in a third world country. I call up Miss Peggy, and Doc and I, we've all been good friends for many years. And I told her, I says, hey, this is what happened. And she's like, well, here's the doc right here. She's a Russian doctor. And she goes, hey, she goes, I'm with the Russian doctor right now. I'll bring her by and have her fix you all up. So she comes by. We end up going to the clinic. They finish him out. And they had this needle about this long. And I don't do needles, right? And there's actually a video out on YouTube that has Doc yelling and screaming because he got poked by that needle. I almost dropped over. So anyway, so I felt that I kind of owed her, and I'm sitting there thinking, going, I'm going to Guatemala now. So to see her, and sure enough, I ended up booking my reservations. I grabbed a bunch of glasses, but I was moving stuff around to different countries because I was setting up my projects for this year. And so I ended up meeting up with them. I think I ended up buying like $300 worth of food for them, and because they're taking their coffee beans and they reused them, and I'm going, are you guys crazy? And they're like, we just don't have money. I says, fine, we're going to Walmart. So we drove for like 3 hours, went to Walmart. I said, just get everything. So we're throwing everything in the baskets, and before you know it, that night we had this great feast. Yeah, doesn't that toe look fabulous? It looks much better than what it did then. So, and that's my home in Costa Rica. And actually, my lady friend I met one of my first trips down, I met her at a project fair in Costa Rica, and we became friends. And whenever I travel into Costa Rica, I stay at her house. And that's my white couch. And I'm very upset with her because she took a picture of it a couple weeks ago, and the couch was gone. I says, where's the couch? So she had it all repolstered for me. And I said, Doris, come on, you don't have to do that. But anyway, that's the way these people are. I stay at their house. We have a great time. And we actually went in to a school, and because of course I have glasses. I actually have glasses at her house. That's one of my storage places in Costa Rica. And I brought the autofur out there, and we started working with the little kids in the school. I can't remember what they call it. But the disease comes from maybe cat feces. Maybe one of you doctors can help me out. It's called and what is it?
Toxoplasmosis.
There you go. Thank you very much. This little girl had it. She couldn't see. And so anyway, went in there, helped her out, got her vision corrected. Next thing you know, I'm downtown at the monument, and they're like, these people are just praising me because I came in here and checked these kids, and this little girl that had this little thing or whatever it was, we helped her, and I was just like going, I certainly don't do it for that, but I will tell you, I enjoy doing it, and like I said, I've seen just about everything you can imagine, but I've never seen that on somebody. I've always heard about it. You know, usually what we're dealing with is glaucoma and things like that. I'm down in the islands. That day right there was so hot. It was crazy. So, as a lot of people say, we look alike. We have a lot of fun. He's 73, and I'm 52 young. But he just had some heart conditions, and he hasn't made it on the last 2 trips of ours. And it was kind of really, really weird. But the amazing thing is everything he's ever taught me, we performed, and yeah, we really knocked it out of the park. So I was impressed with the people that went with us. We did have a couple classes before we went down. These guys are from Ireland. This was their last day. We worked with them again on the island. And I stole this out of Doc's office. What is that, a Louis Vuitton? Is that how they say it? So I wanted to be special. So I wanted to bring something down of his. So I stole that Louis Vuitton chart out of his office. Any questions? Is there? Yes.
When are you going next?
Actually, I am leaving just to go on vacation, and I'm going to take glasses down and hands. I'm actually leaving on the 26th of this month. And I'll be gone for 3 months, and I'll be in all 4 different countries. One of the things is that I've explained to our Rotary Club is as a family, in this one area of Honduras that I first started working, we actually helped build the place. We have, is it time? Is it? All right. 1 minute. All right. So anyway, we wanted to purchase and build a orphanage. And so, you know, as soon as time goes on, we never ended up doing it. So I asked our club, I says, you know, I'm in charge of the fundraising there. So I says, you know, for $20,000, we can build an amazing clinic down there. And I said, what kind of legacy do we want to leave? I mean, we're not, all we're doing is what we do. And if we stop doing it, our glass project, it's never going to continue. So we're in the process right now of working with our club to build us a clinic down there. We fund it. And I told them, I says, number one, in Nicaragua. And what's the cheese company? Don, it's a Mexican cheese company. What's that? Don something and another. Anyway, he's from Nicaragua. And he's the owner of it, and I kind of met up with him. And we're going to probably be doing something down there. So, but he's not a Rotarian, and it doesn't matter.
So, Jeff, how do you fund your projects? Do you use DDF? Do you use club raised funds, or how do you do it?
Yeah, usually what we do is you see that Super Bowl omelet breakfast. If you guys aren't doing anything on Super Bowl, it's an amazing breakfast. It's omelets and pancakes, and I'm in charge of it. And when I'm in charge of it, it's amazing. And it's all of our food that we use from our restaurant. And we usually make about $25,000 from there. So we take probably about, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 granite, and then we're able to pay for our glasses too. So, and like I said, and I've always said, if we can't do it anymore, I'll fund our own projects. The doc and I will fund our own projects. So, yeah, it's simple.
What is your Rotary Club?
Manteca, yes, yeah, we're the afternoon club. So, yeah, and we're only in that 40, 50, but wow. You know, there's about 8 of us that are in there that just do everything. Yeah. And I'm one of them. So I'm done. You want this back?
You're welcome to stay around and answer questions, but a lot of the folks